The Nagant pistol is a weapon for the everyman, because we can all identify with it. Its hipfire accuracy isn't that great, people usually skip it for something else, it's not that visually appealing. I mean, frankly, in most ways, it's a disappointment. Is this sounding familiar? I'm just kidding, your parents are very proud of you, and you should call them after this video. Is that too sincere for an intro? I don't know. The family of Nagants is pretty large in this game. I mean, the list is so long I have to scroll. We have the Nagant M1895 and its variants, and its cousin the Nagant M1895 Officer and its variants. Or maybe not cousin, like one is the neutered version of the other. I don't know. The family metaphor quickly falls apart if you think about it too much, but my point is they are distinct from one another, but there is so much overlap in the details that we're just going to talk about both in this video. But first, let's talk about the custom ammo types that are shared by all the versions. The Nagant has two custom ammo types. High velocity ammo for 50 or poison ammo for 50. High velocity ammo increases the velocity of each variant, taking the base pistol from 330 meters per second to 490 meters per second. The caveat being that this increases the recoil slightly, but there are some other pros to that which we will talk about later. High velocity ammo is handy because it means headshots are mostly point and click. Poison ammo now does the full damage of base ammo, but also deals poison damage, which is super effective against AI and prevents hunters from healing for a few seconds at the cost of bullet penetration. It is great to add some extra pressure in a gunfight and is one of my favorite methods to quickly kill any of the bosses.
That just rinsed through him.
Yeah. Except the spider who is immune, or which is immune. What's the personhood of the bosses? Although the Nagant by itself is rather underwhelming, paired with one of its custom ammo types, it becomes a much better weapon despite its compact ammo woes. But each of the variants benefits differently, so let's spend a long time talking about those. The Nagant M1895 costs $24 and does 91 damage to the chest out to about 20 meters. It unlocks at Bloodline rank 1, meaning it's a starter weapon and has some middling stats to reflect that. With its lower damage, its widespread value at 40, a painfully slow reload at 12 seconds, and a slow cycle rate of 1.5 seconds, it has always surprised me that the No Harmy got its name when, by most metrics, the base Nagant is a worse pistol. The Nagant does have a 7-round cylinder, which can help in a gunfight, and a pretty clean sight, but I imagine most people will choose a different single slot pistol just because of its performance. But, as the founders of Good Charlotte discovered, sometimes the key to success is to bring another version of yourself. They're twins. Like dual wielding. Sure, dual Nagants aren't amazing, but for $48 and a little trigger discipline, you can really send rounds down range. Killed two? The Nagant pistol becomes more interesting and notably more expensive with its Silencer variant. The Nagant Silencer has most of the same stats but a lower effective headshot range, worse spread, and slower muzzle velocity down to 250 meters per second. And you might think that bringing high velocity ammo will give you the best of both worlds, and that's kind of true, but keep in mind, high velocity ammo will reintroduce the muzzle flash to any silenced weapons, making you a target. However, it pairs great with poison ammo to handle most sound traps around the map or quietly kill bosses. It's not the best pistol for PvP, but patient players can wait for opportune times to pick hunters off. Both of these variants are single action pistols, meaning they can benefit from the trait fanning, allowing you to quickly fire all 7 shots. Given the rough spread stat, you'll likely want to be up close for the best chance at a successful kill, but that extra 7th round can make all the difference when you come flying in.
That's over by me.
He's dead.
Nice.
Next we have the Nagant Precision and the Nagant Precision Deadeye. They are the same weapon, except now they have a stock, and one of them has a Deadeye scope. That means that the Nagant Precision has many of the same weaknesses as the base Nagant, but it has a tighter spread, thanks to its stock. Basically, the Nagant Precision is the answer to the age-old question, what if you just shot your enemies in the head? And that's how you use it, aiming for a dome as much as possible, like an Ottoman architect. It's worth noting though, because of the stock, hipfire is very reliable with the Nagant Precision. And although I do like the Nagant Precision as a budget head clicker, its low base damage and quick fall off often leave me both shocked and surprised, but in the worst way.
I stared at it like someone keenly aware of the reality.
Did you see how many
How
shots
did
that
you
was?
hit him? That was 5 shots.
I'm pretty sure those were arm shots, but that doesn't make it sting any less. The Nagant Precision's value is that it doesn't cost much, but you'll need to be pretty accurate to get decent results. However, in the next section, we're going to talk about the Officer and its variants for players that don't mind relying a little bit more on bullet spam. But first, I know these subscribe sections are always fun. So here's me getting into some silly fights with the Nagant, while I candidly explain to you that this channel is almost at 50,000 subscribers. And all it needs to reach that goal is for people like you to subscribe. And you can rest easy knowing you are subscribed to a very skilled, very serious Hunt Showdown player, as you can see. Thank you. Which brings us to the Nagant Officer, a double action pistol that shoots more than twice as fast as the base version. The Nagant Officer unlocks at Bloodline rank 56 and costs $96. What it lacks in damage compared to the other pistols, it makes up for in a decent muzzle velocity and an excellent cycle rate of 0.5 seconds. I compared it recently to the new Army, so check out that video too. The Officer finds its niche from the other spammy pistols in that it has poison ammo, is cheaper than something like the Spitfire, and it has an optional Brawler variant that does 72 blunt melee damage, which can free up a melee slot on your tools and works nicely against hive swarms or immolators. It also has this really nice looking legendary skin, the Death Letter, that looks like something the Joker would carry around, and maybe you recognize those lyrics etched on the metal. The Officer is easily an A tier pick because of its fire rate, but new players may struggle to manage its recoil. So if you want to use it, just practice spacing your shots. Which brings us at last to the Officer Carbine, which I have covered previously on this channel. The Officer Carbine and the Deadeye variant is a 3-slot compact ammo version of the Officer pistol with a stock and longer barrel. The Officer Carbine does 104 damage to the chest, has a slightly higher velocity at 360 meters per second, and a tighter spread, kind of. The most notable thing about the Carbine is its recoil is really weird. But its max headshot range is 126 meters, the lowest of the 3-slot compact ammo weapons, but still long enough for some impressive kills. Oh shit! Although the Carbine isn't the most user-friendly weapon, its high rate of fire is well suited for up-close fights, but it has the added benefit of precision for medium-range engagements too, especially with the optional Deadeye scope. Now that poison ammo does full damage, both custom ammos make competitive picks, but I feel socially pressured to inform you of the hidden benefit of high velocity ammo. As I mentioned, the Nagant Carbine's biggest weakness is its weird recoil pattern, but if you pair it with high velocity ammo, that pattern is more predictable, trending vertical instead of wherever the hell it feels like. Although keep in mind that recoil will still be slightly stronger than just using base ammo. Some people will prefer high velocity ammo, some people won't, and some people, like myself, don't really care too much about the performance and just really like the sniper's gift skin. This video also settles my debt for making a sequel, unlike Kung Pao 2. Still sad about that. Okay, that was a lot of information. This video is getting long, and I'm tired of saying Nagant, so what should you pair it with? If you are using the base Nagant, you probably got it for free or on the cheap, so I recommend either dual wielding it or saving it until you can trade it for something else. If you have the Nagant Silencer, it's a great stealth utility pick, meaning it matches any primary weapon like a 3-slot rifle. Its slow muzzle velocity and damage fall off might be a challenge for range scenarios, so maybe don't take it as a shotgun backup, or at least plan for it if you do. Most importantly, I highly recommend poison ammo with the Silencer. The Nagant Precision and Precision Deadeye are also budget picks for the 2-slot category. They might make sense as a secondary to a 2-slot shotgun like the Caldwell Rival hand cannon, or if you have Quartermaster, maybe a 3-slot shotgun. Sure, the Nagant Precision is still outclassed by most 3-slot weapons, and some 2-slot weapons, and some 1-slot weapons, but hey, think of all the money you're saving. The Nagant Officer is the easiest to recommend since it makes close quarters engagements a little less scary and is well suited for fights within a compound. You also can't go wrong with the Officer Brawler just for the extra utility. And finally, the Officer Carbine isn't my first recommendation for new players, but those that favor it probably know what they're doing and don't need a 10-minute guide from me. The Officer Carbine is like this image, you either get it or you don't. The thing to remember is the Nagant is the most diverse platform in the game. At the time of writing this video, no other weapon has a variant for every slot size, 1, 2, or 3. And that diversity means regardless of your favorite weapon or loadout, there is probably room for a Nagant in there somewhere. And regardless of which variant you pick, the damage is going to be pretty meh in most situations, so you'll most likely just have to nag hunters until they die. But speaking of nagging, as promised, I need to call my mom.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey,
I am calling to tell you that I love you.
how much money do you need now?
I've never asked for money.
You don't ever call me to say I love you, so